Hey guys, pretty much ready to go for Cordova for Midnight Mayhem tonight for DB Drags, and just wanted to pop all the whole hood and doors and the back of the truck open and stuff and show you guys the whole setup here, because there's been a couple of guys on YouTube and Facebook that are interested in just seeing a whole walk around. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Guess we'll just start at the front. I got a handmade alternator from Ed at Lincoln Way Auto Electric in Dixon. It's been rebuilt twice. The original on here was the small case. I believe they call that the 130 or something case, which is a 105 amps. And then he popped me up to the AD or DR 244, whichever, I can't remember the designation, but it's the 244 case here, which had a smaller rotor and stator in it, which was about 200 to 250 amps the first time he put it together. And I burned that up on the kickers and 2 amps. Then I took it back, and he had to order parts to rebuild this one, which has got some oddball, charred-looking black stator and rotor in it. And it was like that brand new. And I've had real good luck with this alternator now. It seems to work really well for about 5 to 10 songs, playing really hard, and then it'll drop off to about 13.5 volts. And you got to back off and let it cool off, and it'll pop back up over 14, and you can jam again. So it certainly has seen some abuse, because I drive it and jam it and then cool it and drive it and jam it and cool it, but it's worked really well. So I'm probably going to need a second one, go to 2 300 amp alternators here eventually. I got 3 runs coming off the back of the alternator, as you can see here. I got this 1.4 gauge that runs to the factory stud to power the factory battery. And then I got a 0 gauge STC Designs wire here that runs back with a 175 amp fuse on it there. And I got a 2 gauge JL Audio oxygen free cable here, which was my original one that was in the vehicle at first. And that one runs with a 175 amp fuse as well, so I got 350 amps worth of fusing. This lead here runs to my receiver, head unit, and epicenter, and lights and things like that inside the cab. Here, got the base audio control epicenter and the Sony head unit, Bluetooth, USB, iPod, Android, blah blah blah, all that stuff. I've got my 2 3.5 inch Boss Audio super tweeters, bullet super tweeters. There you have huge magnets the size of the tweeter inside this console. Those are hooked to the front channels on the head unit. These 2 175 watt 3-inch mid-range drivers are hooked to the rear channel on the head unit, which don't have nearly enough power to drive them right now, so you don't even hardly hear them, but they're there. Let's see. So then we'll work our way to the doors. I got 2 6.5 inch 4-way Sony XS blah 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 speakers in the doors. They're mighty loud. Obviously, I've got them 2 ohms here and 2 ohms there hooked up parallel in both doors. And those are running off of the front channels of this audio pipe 2000 watt 4-channel, which is definitely not 2000 watts. It's 2000 watts peak, they call it, but it's more like 500 RMS or so, maybe 600. It's not the greatest 4-channel, but it works, and it matches the other amps, so it looks decent. And that 4 channels, like I said, the front channels are running these 2 6.5 and 4-ways in the doors. And I got 4 6.5 or 6x9 4-ways in the center console, 2 in the back here and 2 on each side. One, pointing at everybody's ankles here. And those are running off the rear 2 channels of this 4-channel amp. So that's all my highs. I got the 8 4-ways, 2 tweeters, 2 mid-ranges. So that's what I got for highs in here right now. We'll move on to the sub-stage and power. You can see the power from the front comes through the pass-through inside the truck here, runs along this side. I got all my wires for my RCAs and all that kind of stuff run in here underneath my center console, and they run behind the center console, and then they go in underneath the wall over here to the other side to the amps to separate the power from the RCAs and things like that. So then we get back here to the amp area, and like I said, the 4 channels up there on the top. The 3 audio pipe 1500s, I've got those wired at 0.5 ohms nominal each, rising to 1.25 ohms after rise. And that's, I got those loaded down with 2 NVX 122 12-inch dual 2 subs on each amp. Like I said, they're wired down parallel to 0.5, and each pair of these is on a separate amp, the 6 subs here, in the custom big port 36 hertz tuned monstrosity box. Thanks to Brad Schulke and Ricky Feltz and Larry McKenzie and Trevor Komarick for helping build this. It is awesome, boys. Triple front, quad top box. This baffle here is quad. These are all doubled. Everything inside is doubled. The front is tripled. These blocks are the 4th layer with super long screws that go all the way to the inside of the box and stiffen everything up. So it ends up basically being 4-layer front and 4-layer top. We got the 2x4 stair steps in on the sides and the bottoms on both sides to hold the SPL in the vehicle, and it seems to work quite well. I love the way it looks. I love the way it works. It's industrial and it's cool. That's the way I like it. So yeah, then we got our bus bars here. This is the negative side bus bar. This is where all the negatives from all the amplifiers converge and run into this bar. And then we got the negative running to the alternator body in the front, and the negative running to the 0-gauge negative. This is, which wire is that? That's the Sky High car audio wire there that I got from Brad Schulke. He donated that to this build. Thanks, buddy. I bought the blue one off Larry McKenzie. He sold it to me nice and cheap and pulled it right out of his car. Thanks again to him for the STC wire. Okay, then I had these 0 gauges here that I had before I got hooked into the ground, which is the old seatbelt connectors. Then this big 0 gauge goes to the back to hook into the back battery bank. And of course the power and the ground and everything run through a tube. This one was provided by Brad. I've got another one in the back made out of rubber hose that I did myself that I put in after I got home. This is the positive bus bar. Obviously I've got that all taped up because it's 9,000 amps of current right there. 9,000 amps of current all wrapped up with black tape. That's a little scary, huh? So there's that. Go back here to the back and show you what I got for the batteries. The battery bank is 6 Deep Cycle Marine batteries. Yeah, they're a little cruddy looking. Sorry, I never washed them off, but big deal. You can see I got the 0 gauge running on one side going to the far end of the bank, and the 2 gauge on this end of the bank, so I'm getting a good draw off both ends. Grounds are running to this side of the truck and that side of the truck and through the body to the frame and to the front alternator and everything. Got my AGM standard or gel battery charger here. Works awesome. Keeps my batteries charged at 100%. A couple days before competitions and stuff, I throw that on there to make sure that they're full. Those are 5 Case IH throwaway batteries. They're 950 cold cranking amps a piece. I've tested them. They're real close to 1,000 each still. I just been saving them at my old job because the farmers would throw them away, and then I would go trade in an old junk battery and take one of these when I know it was still decent. And then this battery here is an EverStart Marine. It came from Walmart. That specs out to 1,300 cold cranking amps. As you can see, it's 122 amp hours. It is a beastly battery, and if you guys need a cheap, good battery, go to Walmart, pick one of these up for $80 because it outperforms all those Group 31s hands down for $80. You cannot beat that battery. I don't care who you are for that price. An AGM is going to be better. An Access Power is going to be better. A Block Shaker is going to be better. I'm not going to lie to you. Those are better batteries. But if you're cheap and broke like I am, those work pretty dang good. And I guess that's about all there is to it. You can see I got all the numbers and all the names and stuff on the back window I've been working on for a few days. I've been pulling them off, putting them on, doing different things. I've got some more stickers coming from some more friends in the mail. They're going to be going on eventually. So, pretty much ready for Midnight Mayhem, and the show down in Southern Illinois tomorrow. So, Team Implode Audio and Team NVX for the win. And go try to kick some butt tonight. We'll see how things go. Show off my fancy UFO lights. Man, that thing is so cool that you can turn it down and turn it up. At night, I mean, it literally brightens up this whole cab so much that it looks like a freaking UFO in here. So, that's sweet. Anyways, there we go. That's where we're at.